You do look to be in great shape. How is the training camp going? Because we see the 30-second clips with Rafael Cordero and your whole team, but could you give us a little more insight into how things are going?
I'm doing great, but my body is shit right now. I'm sore, I'm really sore.
Sure, he's 100, but G looks good.
Yeah, man, he's looking really, really good. I'm definitely a little bit crazy, and I'm definitely a little bit scared.
Mike Tyson appears to be struggling just 2 months after his legendary showdown with Jake Paul. Once the most feared man in the ring, it's heartbreaking to see him now seemingly trying to find his place in the spotlight in a different way. Shocking footage reveals he's gained weight, unfortunately not in muscle. Fans are left wondering, what's really going on with the boxing icon? Mike Tyson appears to be struggling just 2 months after his last fight with Jake Paul. Sorry, but...
Just that head movement and inside is just wild.
Everything. And the power. It was just, that's what you wanted to see from a heavyweight. So that guy is still alive, and he still remembers all these moments.
Following his thrilling return to the ring that left fans questioning his legendary legacy, the aftermath for Mike Tyson is anything but pretty. The once baddest man on the planet now seems to have swapped his championship glory for quick cash and lingering regret. With his career unraveling faster than his stamina in the fight, Tyson's comeback is quickly becoming a disappointing and bloated spectacle. On the radio, young Tyson asks for things to change, but before he knows what's happening, the rings are empty once again.
Mike Tyson, people would talk to. People are, there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even, like, because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Mike Tyson, just his name, was enough to strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dared step into the ring. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a relentless force of nature, an unstoppable whirlwind that demolished opponents in mere seconds. In some respects, the things that Mike Tyson did were drastically different from anything else in today's society. He grabbed you by the throat. He jammed your armbands in mere seconds. My friendship with my mentor, in addition to being one of my favorite times of the year, came from his one-word principles and the way he taught you in high school.
Tyson requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action.
Fast forward to November 15th, 2024, and the name Mike Tyson is now linked to something entirely different: struggle. His much-anticipated fight against Jake Paul wasn't just a battle of fists. It was a clash of generations, a collision of egos, and a harsh reminder that even the greatest legends eventually confront their fall from grace.
Friend Mike Tyson tweeted that he almost died over the summer. He said, he had a bunch of blood transfusions, just had to fight to get healthy, and then his performance yesterday against Jake Paul. Just your thoughts on what we saw.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
This wasn't the Tyson we all remembered. This was a 58-year-old man who had survived a near-death experience earlier in the year. The once unstoppable force, who used to destroy opponents with ease, now found himself up against a YouTuber turned boxer nearly half his age. Let's be honest, this fight felt less like a true competition and more like a sad spectacle. And, give him Quip's cloth to YouTube, Burt baseball hats, bat suits and corporal punishment, over contests and some competition.
Welcome home, Iron Mike Tyson!
Tyson struggled to find his rhythm as Jake Paul moved around him with the speed and energy of someone half his age. This wasn't the same man who once dismantled opponents with ruthless knockouts. This was Mike Tyson, still an icon, but now broken, worn out, and barely holding on.
Last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the fucking ocean with a bunch of sharks.
The entire fight situation has left Iron Mike in a complete meltdown. Let's face it, can a 58-year-old man step into the ring without it taking a massive toll, not just physically, but emotionally as well? Weeks after the fight, Tyson opened up about the emotional aftermath, admitting, "The fight was such a big ascent. We were so up and high.
You know, but the day after the fight, the day after, I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that?
The day after the fight, I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? Tyson confessed. In another interview, his words struck a chord, exposing the struggles of a man who dedicated his life to chasing greatness, now grappling with the painful reality that the world has moved on.
Was by its nature a horrible fight, right from the start. It was just awful.
Mike Tyson's comeback against Jake Paul wasn't just a fight. It's been a whirlwind of emotions and controversy ever since. In a candid interview on December 9th, Tyson admitted he's been feeling a little bit depressed after the fight. For a man who once ruled boxing, it wasn't just about losing. It was about questioning everything. His place, his purpose, and his legacy.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing.
The fallout from Tyson's return hit harder than any punch. His comeback was meant to be a triumph, but the reality was far harsher. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, walked away the victor, leaving Tyson's legacy hanging by a thread. At 58, Tyson wasn't just dealing with defeat. He faced the crushing realization that time, unforgiving for even legends, had caught up with him. In 2020, Tyson lost the champion's license and walked away the victor, leaving Tyson with only legend status. Had caught up with him. Yet, let's not forget the business side of the fight. It brought in an astounding 108 million viewers on Netflix, breaking records. The hype was unreal. Tyson, the warrior of old, facing Jake Paul, the new age disruptor. From the opening bell, it was clear this wasn't going to be a fairy tale comeback. Tyson started strong, throwing punches that echoed his past, levitating the fighter into the sky. But then came repetition. Another 108 million viewers on Netflix, breaking records again. The hype was unreal. Tyson, the warrior of old, facing Jake Paul, the new age disruptor. From the opening bell, it was clear that this was going to be a fairy tale comeback. Tyson, the warrior of old, facing Jake Paul, the new age disruptor. From the hype. But by the second round, the cracks began to show. The firepower wasn't there. His stamina was gone. And Jake Paul exploited every weakness.
And everybody was saying, oh, nice shot by Jake Paul.
Right hand by Paul, that is.
Round after round, it became clear that Jake Paul stayed in control. His speed and youth were simply too much for Tyson. Tyson's punches, once his deadly weapons, lacked their signature power. By the fourth round, the crowd wasn't witnessing a fight. It was a painful reminder that Father Time is undefeated. Jake Tyson, I feel like I need to wait a few minutes before I make my move for the third round. It was a painful reminder that Father Time is undefeated.
Judge David Yacobucci sees the contest 80-72, while judges Lawrence Cole and Jesse Reyes see it 79-73, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake El Gallo!
The fight ended in a unanimous decision for Jake Paul with scores of 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73, a clean sweep with no controversy. However, it came at a high cost for Tyson, leaving his legacy in jeopardy. Immediately after the fight, rumors of a leaked script started circulating. Too much drama and too little actual boxing.
And we wouldn't be here today without him. This man is an icon, and it's just an honor to be able to fight him. And he's obviously the toughest, baddest man on the planet. So
I think for Jake Paul, it was a career-defining moment, but for Tyson, it was a bitter pill to swallow.
You know, 58, a lot of people thought you shouldn't be here. A lot of people thought you'd be done and dusted in the first round. Do you feel like you proved the world wrong, that you could at least go 8 rounds with a younger man?
I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself.
The loss wasn't just reflected on the scorecards. It was evident in every labored breath, every sluggish step, and every punch that lacked the impact it once had. And it didn't end there.
What do you have to say to the critics that brought that up?
Oh, no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little.
Sir, did you watch it back or anything, or no?
Ever watched the fight? No, I have not.
Tyson later admitted to blanking out during parts of the fight. The last thing I remember is Jake bowing in the ring. Let that sink in. The man who once ruled boxing barely recalls the end of his own fight. Reflecting on his legacy, Iron Mike isn't just a nickname, it's a part of boxing history. With raw power and unmatched aggression, Tyson became an unstoppable force in the ring, setting records that still stand today. At just 20 years old, he made history by becoming the youngest heavyweight champion ever, crushing Trevor Berbick in 1986. That was just the beginning. Don't let imagination draw you away from the actual importance of the subject.
And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face. Instantaneously.
Tyson's reign was defined by his brutal, explosive knockouts, with 44 of his 50 career wins ending in a knockout. His first-round demolitions, 24 in total, became a terrifying trademark. His ability to finish a fight before the bell even rang made him a nightmare for every heavyweight contender. When he became the first fighter to hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously, Mike didn't just win, he dominated. In 2012, entire matches for the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously on the same card before the bell even rang made him the first fighter to hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously. Mike didn't just win, he dominated. It made the whole movie about what he could do, and it was vital to his character because the referee had to recognize him. So powerful, and one of the best clips refs ever. He also controlled the hell of the tap-ons, and limber, unsecondable. Remember? But let's be real. The fallout from Tyson's fight with Jake Paul divided the boxing world. On one side, die-hard fans were applauding Tyson simply for showing up.
It wasn't about what he had left at 58. It was what maybe he might have, and the image, the scary guy, the guy that's going to eat your children, the guy who's the baddest man on the planet.
Tyson's reign was defined by his brutal, explosive knockouts, with 44 of his 50 career wins ending in a knockout. His first-round demolitions, 72.5 times 24 in total, became a terrifying trademark. His ability to finish a fight before the bell even rang made him a nightmare for every heavyweight contender. When he became the first fighter to hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles simultaneously, Mike didn't just win, he dominated. Right before the bell rang, I went and sat in my room, wishing I had enough money to eat. But let's be real. The fallout from Tyson's fight with Jake Paul divided the boxing world. On one side, die-hard fans were applauding Tyson simply for showing up. On the other side, everything was chaos.
Your thoughts on what we saw?
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
And speaking of Jake Paul, he's a debate in himself. Is he the new face of boxing, proving the sport can evolve? Or is he the ultimate symbol of everything wrong with modern boxing? Flashy, loud, and more about spectacle than skill. Love him or hate him, the guy knows how to stir the pot. After beating Tyson, his celebrity boxing stock skyrocketed. But let's not pretend this didn't also reignite debates about what boxing really is today. My favorite thing about Tyson crying when people are hurt is the fact that he cries when people are hurt in the fight. On that note, I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
And let's not ignore the ethics here. Should a 58-year-old, even one as legendary as Tyson, be stepping into the ring for a professional bout? Critics argue it's dangerous, and after witnessing Tyson's performance, they might have a point. This wasn't just a loss. It was a reminder that even the fiercest warriors can't outrun time. Squire.
I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan, I think he said you might be next.
I'll kill you, Mike.
So here we are, staring down the reality of Tyson's legacy, and it's messy. The man who once ruled the ring like it was his own jungle gym is now calling out Logan Paul for a future fight. Yeah, you heard that right. Logan Paul. After that disappointing showing against Jake Paul, Tyson is still out here trying to stay relevant in the game.
Wasn't the Tyson Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
Some say it's all about the money. Who wouldn't want to cash in on that celebrity boxing paycheck? But let's be real, Tyson isn't exactly starving. He's got millions in the bank. No, this isn't about finances. It's something deeper. Maybe Tyson just can't let go of his glory days. There's a certain allure in staying relevant when the world has moved on. And Tyson clearly hasn't figured out how to stop craving that spotlight. So he calls out Logan Paul, and suddenly the fight talks back. And clearly not. I don't know. I don't believe it's possible. There's something deeper, more important. There's not a lot of value in seeing more important what the guy in the mirror poses who looks the same. But nothing like a steady state level of influence and experience. Don't replace it. Second to none.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
But there's a catch. How much of Tyson's legacy is he willing to risk? The man has been through hell and back in his life. And now, instead of riding off into the sunset, he's back at square one, trying to convince both us and himself that he still has it. The problem is, every time Tyson steps into the ring, he adds another chapter to a story that doesn't need more pages. His name is already legendary. Does he really need another hit to his record to prove something? Now, let's zoom out and look at this so-called comeback in a broader context. Tyson's return is about more than just him. It's about boxing itself. And, oh boy, does it have a lot to say about the state of the sport. We need to talk about celebrity boxing because, yeah, it's a thing now. Don't get me wrong, the money's great, but it's also destroying the soul of the sport. Where are the next Mike Tyson, the next Muhammad Ali? Instead, we're watching a battle of Instagram stars. And it's nothing but a shameless spectacle. Tyson's loss to Jake Paul wasn't just a personal failure. It's a flashing neon sign that boxing is in trouble.